Not everyone is born healthy and beautiful, and sometimes genes play cruel tricks, causing rare diseases. These illnesses can significantly alter a person's appearance and make life challenging. Nowadays, society has become more tolerant, helping, treating, and supporting such people. But it wasn't always like this. In the past, attitudes toward people with illnesses were very different. Back then, even freak shows were created for the amusement of the public. Want to learn how rare diseases change destinies and how the lives of such individuals have evolved over time? Stay with us. In the past, people with unusual physical features were treated cruelly. They were often mocked, feared, and thought to be emissaries of dark forces.
Let's go!
In 16th century England, a unique form of entertainment was invented, the freak show, where such individuals were put on display for public amusement. Over time, these shows became a profitable business, drawing crowds during their tours. In the 19th century, the famous showman P.T. Barnum decided to revive this genre. He gathered a troupe of people with striking physical characteristics, creating a spectacular show that evoked mixed feelings. By the late 19th century in England, interest in such performances had waned as science debunked myths about demons, and people began to understand that these performers were simply individuals with unfortunate health conditions. Paying to watch such displays started to be seen as inhumane. However, in America, the popularity of these shows persisted longer. In 1932, director Todd Browning even made a film called Freaks, which shocked audiences so much that it was heavily censored. Despite the cruelty of the industry, many performers managed to secure a decent life through these shows. They signed contracts, earned good money, and even started families.
It's about time.
Today, we remember the most famous representatives of this peculiar genre, whose names have gone down in history. Johnny Eck, an American performer, was an incredibly talented individual who seemed destined only for a career in freak shows.
Come on now, dawg.
However, he proved that physical limitations could not hinder the discovery of multifaceted talents. Though his unique appearance attracted the attention of the film industry, Johnny's abilities went far beyond that. He became a successful artist, saxophonist, photographer, gymnast, race car driver, and even a businessman. Johnny was born with a rare condition called caudal regression syndrome, which resulted in the underdevelopment of the lower half of his body. Despite this, he learned to walk on his hands before his twin brother Robert learned to walk on his feet. His physical condition did not affect his mental development, and Johnny attended school like other children. At the age of 12, he began his career as a circus performer, presenting himself to audiences as a man without a lower body. His legs were hidden under his clothing, leaving only his upper body visible. Together with his brother Robert, Johnny performed incredible stunts in the circus, climbing stairs, balancing on one hand, and participating in magic tricks.
Come on, man.
When the popularity of freak shows declined, the brothers found their place in ordinary life, demonstrating that strong will and talent can overcome any obstacles. Jane Barnell, known as the Bearded Lady, gained fame under her stage name Lady Olga. In her time, a girl with her appearance had little to look forward to in life. Jane's mother sold her to a circus, but when the performer fell ill during a tour in Berlin, she was simply abandoned.
I'm gonna come.
However, thanks to the support of a strongman acquaintance, Jane returned to the circus. Over her career, she used several stage names before settling on the striking Lady Olga Roderick. By then, her beard had grown to 12 inches in length. Lady Olga spent most of her life touring with various circus troupes, participating in exhibitions, and even appearing in Todd Browning's Freaks, which, as mentioned earlier, shocked audiences and performers alike. Despite her unusual appearance, her beard did not hinder her personal life. Jane was married 4 times, with her last husband being a former clown and street barker who later became her manager. Schlitzie, often referred to as the last of the Aztecs, was most likely born not in Mexico but in New York, as indicated by his gravestone inscription.
What?
From birth, Schlitzie had microcephaly, a condition that left his brain underdeveloped and his head disproportionately small. He grew to only 4 feet tall, was nearsighted, and had the intellectual abilities of a 3-year-old child. Schlitzie could not care for himself and spoke only simple words, though he understood commands and imitated others well. Schlitzie was kind and beloved by those around him, who saw not just an entertainer, but a sweet and lively person. He entered the circus when his parents sold him, a common practice at the time. His employers became his guardians, and Schlitzie had many of them throughout his life. On stage, he was billed variously as the Last Aztec, the Monkey Girl, or sometimes simply an unknown being. He often performed alongside other microcephalic artists. During the 1920s and 1930s, Schlitzie became a genuine celebrity, also appearing in Todd Browning's Freaks.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
He performed with famous troupes like Barnum and Bailey and continued his career until the end of his life, even performing on the streets. Unfortunately, Schlitzie was buried in an unmarked grave, but in 2009, a headstone was placed to honor his life and career. Conjoined twins, Daisy and Violet, Hilton became a central part of circus shows in the early 20th century.
Okay.
The girls were born in England to an unmarried mother, joined at the hips and buttocks, sharing blood circulation but having separate internal organs. Their unusual appearance caught the attention of the Hilton couple, who purchased the girls and trained them in dancing and singing. Behind their seemingly caring facade, the Hiltons used abusive methods to control the twins. The sisters were closely monitored by doctors, as their condition was unique in England. However, no surgeon dared to attempt a separation, believing it would inevitably result in one of their deaths. From a young age, Daisy and Violet were exhibited in circuses, touring globally. Yet, the earnings went to their guardians, not to the sisters. In the 1920s, they moved to America, meeting notable figures like actor Bob Hope and illusionist Harry Houdini. It wasn't until 1931 that they freed themselves from their guardians' control and received financial compensation. Once independent, they began performing in shows and vaudeville, striving to assert their individuality by wearing different outfits and dyeing their hair differently. However, their personal lives were fraught with difficulties. Despite romances and short-lived marriages, they never found lasting happiness. In their later years, they lived modestly, working in a small shop. When Daisy succumbed to Hong Kong flu, Violet survived only a few days longer. Prince Randian, known as the Snake Man or Living Torso, was a remarkable figure in circus history. Despite his regal-sounding name, he was not a prince, it was merely a stage persona. Born in 1871 in British Guiana, modern-day Guyana, with the rare tetra amelia syndrome which left him without all 4 limbs, Randian achieved fame as a performer. Thanks to P.T. Barnum, Randian came to America and became part of the freak show circuit. His costume gave him the appearance of a snake, and his fluid movements using his shoulders and hips captivated audiences. Spectators were particularly amazed by his ability to roll cigarettes using only his lips, a trick that was incredibly popular. Beyond the circus, Randian showcased his skills in other areas. He could paint, write, and even shave with specialized tools. Fluent in 4 languages, he was a cultured and independent individual.
I'm here to tell you right now.
In his personal life, he was married and had 5 children. His determination and independence inspired many. His life is a testament to overcoming challenges, achieving success, and finding joy despite the odds. Could you do the same? Joseph Merrick, better known as the Elephant Man, became a tragic legend of freak shows due to congenital diseases that severely altered his appearance. He was born in London in 1862 into a weaver's family. Both his mother and sister were disabled, but Joseph's deformities only began to manifest when he was about 5 years old. Conditions such as Proteus syndrome and neurofibromatosis severely deformed his body. His bones overgrew, his skin sagged, and he eventually became the subject of ridicule and scorn. When his illness made regular work impossible, Joseph ended up on the streets, with freak shows as his only means of survival. Despite harsh living conditions, he was treated with respect in the circus and earned a good income. His story caught the attention of physiologist Frederick Treves, who introduced Joseph to the scientific community in 1884. After freak shows were banned in England, Merrick temporarily left the country, but soon returned. Over time, his plight attracted the attention of not just doctors, but also the press, aristocrats, and even Queen Victoria. Joseph began receiving an education, attending theater and writing prose and poetry. Despite his appearance, his intellect and kindness revealed a thoughtful and intelligent man, disproving assumptions of his supposed mental deficiency. Unfortunately, Joseph's life was cut short. In 1890, he died in his sleep. His head, too heavy for his body, crushed his neck. His story inspired numerous works of art, including a Broadway play in which David Bowie portrayed Merrick, and the film The Elephant Man by David Lynch, which earned 8 Oscar nominations. The tragedy and greatness of Joseph's life continue to resonate to this day. Minnie Woo, a girl from Georgia, was born with a rare condition called Sickle syndrome, which left her a small-statured individual with an unusual appearance. A small, elongated head, a deformed lower jaw, and near-total blindness. Her future seemed bleak until the owner of a freak show discovered her in a psychiatric hospital. Minnie was presented under the name Minnie Ha-Ha. Dressed in a Native American costume with a feathered headdress and tasked with entertaining audiences. Although initially this may have seemed cruel, Minnie gradually grew accustomed to the audience's attention and even came to love dancing, pouring her emotions into her performances. After her role in the cult film Freaks, she was dubbed the Bird Girl, or Cuckoo, and gained genuine fame. This persona became so popular that Minnie performed in the circus until her death. Even today, her name and legacy appear in pop culture as a symbol of an extraordinary but captivating talent that continues to evoke fascination. Ella Harper went down in circus history under the poignant nickname Camel Girl. Her fate was shaped by a rare condition called recurved knee joints, which forced her to walk on all fours. At just 12 years old, Ella began her circus career, touring with Harris's Nickel Plate show. She earned a significant weekly wage of $200, a considerable amount for the time. Advertisements enticed audiences with the promise of seeing a charming young lady whose knees and gait resemble a camel's. Indeed, Ella could only walk using both her hands and feet due to her reversed knees. Despite the public's fascination, her life was fraught with challenges. In 1886, Ella participated in a photo shoot, giving us a glimpse of her appearance. Shortly thereafter, she made a difficult decision to leave the circus and pursue an education. She relocated to Nashville, where she married in 1903. However, tragedy followed her. Psych! Her only biological child, and later an adopted daughter, both passed away. Ella Harper, who faced immense physical and emotional trials throughout her life, remains a poignant figure in history, evoking profound sympathy for her hardships. Stefan Bobrowski, known as the Lion Man, captivated audiences worldwide with his extraordinary appearance. This German of Polish descent suffered from a rare condition called hypertrichosis, which covered his body with dense hair from birth. His condition emerged in infancy, and his parents, frightened by his appearance, entrusted him to a circus. Circus promoters crafted a tale to attract audiences. His mother had been attacked by a lion while pregnant, supposedly explaining his resemblance to the king of beasts. Thus, Stefan adopted the stage name Lionel and began touring. By 1901, Bobrowski had moved to America, becoming a star in Barnum's Circus. By this time, the hair on his body measured 4 inches long, and he not only showcased his appearance but also performed gymnastics. Many viewed him as a missing link between humans and animals. Emotional, damn it! Yet beneath the wild exterior was an educated and articulate man. Stefan was well-read, fluent in 5 languages, and capable of impressing not just visually but intellectually. Over time, he left the circus stage and returned to his homeland, leaving a striking legacy in the history of show business. These incredible stories of individuals who turned their physical differences into a means of survival highlight the resilience of the human spirit. Not only did they endure in a world that often rejected them, but they also found their place in the spotlight, becoming symbols of strength and perseverance. But what drove them to such choices? What kind of life awaited them beyond the stage? Could you do the same if you were in their place? By the way, if you dream of creating amazing videos and working on exciting projects, here's your chance. If you're skilled in editing, graphics, voiceovers, or writing captivating scripts, let's create together. We're looking for talented and creative people to join our team. Want to bring your ideas to life and make something truly awesome? Message us via the Telegram bot, link in the description, and become part of the team making great new videos for our channel. Posts,